Hello again, everybody. It's me, Marcus, and I review stuff. Today I'm reviewing the song "Empiricist" by Typhoon. You know, I've had a lot of requests for this song, and all those requests just happen to come from the same person. What was it, Blaze Clan? Shout out to Blaze Clan. Been requesting this song for like a week plus straight, to the point where they've written me some, quite lovely poetry to try to get me to listen to this song. So, in the spirit of giving the people what they want and, not dying, I will gladly review this song. So it better be fire, man. That's all I gotta say. This better be a badass song. You were requesting it for like a week and a half straight. It better be a good song, otherwise I'm like, Blaze Clan? Nah, fuck that guy. His requests are going in the back of the line. So I'm just messing with you, of course. But happy to get to this one. Band I've never heard before. So going in totally blind, no idea what to expect. And yeah, it's about as much as I have to say. So anyway, let's do it. This is, again, Empiricist by Typhoon. Alright.
Mother pulled from father's ribs, little baby in a crib, hands reaching up. before the blinding light split through the prism of your organs into colors. Oh, that being and nothingness on the same old beat strip, sleeping, waking up.
That was neat. I actually, I really like that one. That was good. Blaze Clan, good job. Good job. I can see why you were requesting it so much. That was a good song. I really enjoyed it. I think my one complaint, if I were to have one, was I wish they would have ended the song a little bit stronger. I feel like kind of taking it down and sort of minimalizing that ending. I wish they picked it up in the last 2 minutes of the song and I wish they would have just ended strong with that momentum. But I can see why they didn't. I think it fits thematically with the song. But yeah, it was fun. It was a good listen. I say fun. It was definitely sort of haunting and dark throughout. There was this sort of feeling of not necessarily dread, but sort of unfulfillment, if that makes sense. Sort of this this nagging feeling of just not quite being enough, which I think is interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed the song. Really excited to break down the lyrics and everything. So let's start here. On the first day, on the first day, on the first day, God created everything. On the first day, God created everything there ever was. On the second day, God came to take it all back, piece by piece. Interesting. Empty room, cast about for a familiar object, because my body needs coordinates to move. In the dark, range of motion shrivels all around me. All my nightmares, I am slowly being cocooned, a single calf in the hecatomb. I think it's very interesting. For me, I almost don't remember the first part of the song instrumentally, just because I was really focused on the lyrics this time around. And I got to say, I'm not really entirely too sure what he's talking about here. To me, the song sort of tracks like growing up, going through life. But it's definitely not perfect tracking there. It starts with, God created everything and then took it back. This part is interesting. Empty room, cast about for a familiar object, because my body needs coordinates to move. In the dark, range of motion shrivels all around me. All my nightmares, I am slowly being cocooned. A single calf in a hecatomb. I had to look up what a hecatomb was. Apparently, it's in ancient Greece or Rome, a great public sacrifice, especially of 100 oxen. Jesus, that's a lot. In practice, as few as 12 can make up a hecatomb. Okay, interesting. And so it's a single calf in a hecatomb, so that he's the only one being sacrificed when it should be many others. I'm not entirely sure what he's saying here. Crescent moon, hollowed out of all my fabled insides. Occam shave me down to primal truth, return me to the womb. Yeah, no idea. This first part of the song is very esoteric to me. I truly don't understand what's going on here. So it could just be very fantastical writing, and it definitely had that sort of fantastical feel to it, especially with sort of the language that he's using here. But yeah, really not too sure. The spirit held a magic flask, said, "Drink it to forget the past." But careful, it's a poison batch, each drop more painful than the last. If you fail, you'll wish for death. If you finish, you'll be free at last. Interesting. I wonder if that's sort of a metaphor for alcohol and falling maybe into alcoholism, but I'm not entirely sure. I also don't know what this means. Asanisimas. I guess I can plug it into Google real quick and see what Google tells me. Let's see what it says. Is an iconic nonsense phrase used during a key scene in Federico Fellini's 1963 film 8½. So it literally just means nothing? Interesting. A nonsense phrase. Let's see if they can expand on that. In the film 8½, at about the 36-minute mark, Guido Anselmi, a fictional film director played by that guy, and representing Fellini's alter ego, is attending a party on the grounds of the resort where he's staying. There's a clairvoyant Maya. Come on, get on with it. Maya writes on her blackboard "Asa Nisi Masa," which Guido confirms is the phrase he was thinking of. But what does it mean, Maurice asks, and the film immediately transitions in a flashback to Guido's childhood. Oh man, there's this whole backstory to it. I mean, recite the phrase. But basically, it just means nothing. Although the phrase "Asa Nisi Masa" has no translation in any known language, and Fellini never publicly revealed the meaning of the phrase, it is generally thought that Fellini used an Italian children's game similar to Pig Latin to create it. In the game, the syllables "si" and "sa" were added to existing words to obscure them, which Fellini does with the word "anima." The word anima has dual significance in this context. Not only is it the Italian word for soul, but it is also a key concept in the work of the Swiss psychotherapist Carl Jung, I think is actually pronounced, of whom Fellini was fond, where anima is the term for the female aspect of the personality in men. A common Fellini theme. Wow, this is very very esoteric shit. Like the fact that he was able to kind of put that in a song with such just like a very obscure reference. That's kind of cool, I guess. But I wonder if he's using it to mean like the soul, because as I mentioned before, the first part of the song seems very I don't want to say spiritual, but very fantastical, I think was the word I was using for, which I think is, again, very interesting. But mother pulled from father's ribs, little baby in a crib, hands reaching up before the blinding light is split through the prism of your organs into colors. All that being and nothingness on the same Mobius strip, sleep and waking up. No idea. On the first day, wipe the blank slate, and you join the banquet, served up helpless on a plate. So to me, I think I wonder if the first part of the song is about like religion or what happened before, we kind of became people before we were born. I mean, I don't know, spirituality, if you will. But then I think on this part, the rest of the song here, and this is kind of where the song changes gears. The first part of the song was very kind of out there instrumentally. It was sort of I don't want to say soft, but it was very subdued, I guess. And really, this part of the song is where it really starts to pick up. And then I think this is also where thematically it changes to being about living life and kind of going through life, which I think is interesting because the first part of the song is much longer, and I wonder if that's intentional. Like, the part of existence before us was much longer than the part that sees us. I mean, that could be interesting, a really interesting concept there. I could be reading too much into it, but anyway, on the first day, wiped blank slate, and you join the banquet served up helpless on a plate, right? So it's like you're being born, you're helpless. Human babies are helpless, literally, but you find your land legs and you learn to imitate. So as you grow up, you figure out how things work, you learn to copy what others are doing, you learn to imitate. Truly, a lot of what we learn is imitating others, imitating role models and what have you. So, that whole nature versus nurture thing, that nurturing where we are taught sort of how to live and exist and behave, it is sort of an imitation game when you think about it. You'll wear any feather and hope that your efforts attract a mate. So as you grow up, you try to find someone to live with, fall in love with, what have you. And then it kind of skips ahead to when you're an adult. One day your children find you locked in the bathroom, staring in horror at the reflection of your face. So as you grow up and you start to reflect on who you are as a person, it's interesting because really in this first part here, first part of the last part of the song, it really is about just learning how things work, imitating, trying to find a mate, reacting to the outward world. Whereas in this part, it's really almost internalized, like who am I as a person, and really thinking about your place in the world. And you say you're sorry to the guest at your party, but you can't help wonder, who is this person you celebrate? So it's almost like you don't even know yourself after so many years of actually having been alive. And so the light fades, and I think this is the part where the person maybe dies. And so the light fades, it's still your birthday, so blow out your past lives like they're candles on the cake. That's how it ends. I think it's a very interesting song. Lyrically, I'd be really interested to see what the artist's influence or inspiration was, just because, like I said, the first part of the song, it leaves me with a whole lot of questions. I mean, I truly have no idea if I'm interpreting the song correctly, if you will. I can only really say what I know as far as having read these lyrics here. So I think it's very interesting. I do really dig their writing. Like I said, very fantastical there in the first part. Kind of sprinkles of religion throughout, so I wonder if there's any sort of religious influence there, spiritual influence, or if it's kind of looking at it through a religious historical type of lens. I'd be really interested to see what the artist kind of had in mind here. Lyrically, it's really interesting. I mean, the song was 8 minutes long. With my intro and everything, I've probably been talking about the song for what, 50 What? No, not 15 minutes. I'm about to say. I've probably been talking about the song for about 8 minutes by now, something like that, just lyrically. So it's like, I think it's given me enough to really think about, to keep me interested, and I feel like it's almost like that nugget of like, oh, there's more to be had here. So I'm curious. I want to keep digging. So because it caught my attention like that lyrically, I got to give it 2 thumbs up. That was really cool. Instrumentally, I thought the song was fine. Like I said, I honestly wasn't paying too much attention just because I was really focused in on the lyrics. But I like what they did. Like I said, towards the end of the song, it really does change. When it seems to start talking about the human condition, the song does change as far as the pacing goes. It sort of it shifts gears basically, and I actually really like that about it. Like I said, I wish they would have kind of taken that and taken it all the way to the end of the song. But I can also see why they slowed it down there at the end, especially if it's meant to signify someone's death or passing or what have you. So I can see why they did that. That's just kind of a small preference thing for me. I don't think it's going to hurt the way I truly feel about the song. I think it's still a good song, and I can see why this person who's requested this song over and over again has requested it. It was an enjoyable listen. It really caught me from the beginning. It had a nice kind of beat throughout, nice rhythm. I really enjoyed what I was hearing. I think if I wasn't so focused on the lyrics, I would have really had more to say about the instrumentation, unfortunately. Because I was so focused on the lyrics, I don't really have too much to say. I guess I'll give it like a 1.5. I almost was tempted to pause the video and just go listen to it again. But I was like, nah, I'll do it authentic, one listen like I gave every other song, and we'll go through it. But I am excited to listen to it again after this. With that being said, I think this does have a pretty good replay value for me. I can definitely see myself listening to this song again. It was pretty catchy through certain parts, but really loved that the lyrics make me think. So overall, I mean, yeah, this was a good song. As I was listening to it, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to give it up to Blaze Clan. That was his name, right? Because yeah, it was a fun listen. I enjoyed it. And would listen to this band again. It was kind of hard to find some of the, they're not on Genius yet, which I use Genius for most of my lyrical analyses because it usually gives me a little bit something to kind of look into, tidbits of information here and there. But for this one, there was no such thing on that yet. So I wonder if this is sort of a newer band or a band that maybe hasn't broken out yet. So I think it's kind of interesting. I'd be interested to see more from them and see if they maintain that writing style. But yeah, all that to say, this definitely has some replay value. I can see myself listening to it again. It's going to make the playlist. I give it 2 thumbs up. Overall, thank you for the requests. Blaze Clan, I'll take your requests a little bit more, not seriously, but, maybe a little more haste behind them from now on. But yeah, thank you for that. If you enjoyed the music, go support the artist. Go listen to the music wherever you can. One place you can find them, if they're on Spotify, one place you can find them is in my Spotify playlist. It's in the description below. It's got every single song I've listened to so far on the channel, as long as it's on Spotify. There's been a couple that aren't, unfortunately, but if you want to support me, just do all the normal stuff you do on YouTube, like and subscribe and comment. That's it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next video.